great presence downtown to make sure everybody stays safe, and it'll be a great time. So hopefully you all can be there and encourage our community to be there. Thank you.
Thanks, Mayor. Hello, everyone. Laura Neiman, Chief of Staff, Chief Administrative Officer. Thank you for coming together today. The last time I stepped foot in this room, by the way, was when it was the Emergency Operations Center, and it brings back many memories because for about 10 days we live pretty much 24 hours a day in this room. So thank you. I want to start by addressing the reorganization of 3 key departments within the city. I'm going to have the heads of those departments address the very specific reasons why we're making some of the moves that we are and the individuals that will be impacted. And at the conclusion of, I said 3, but there's going to be a 4th announcement by a department head, I'll come back up to the podium and answer specific questions about who and compensation and packages and years of service and any questions you may have. But I want to start by addressing why there was no comment to the media yesterday. I know that some, Daniel and Adrian in particular, there may have been more, may have been offended by my lack of response. And I'll just say that we wanted not to talk necessarily about eliminating 6 positions that impacted 6 very dear people, and I don't want to lessen that. We simply wanted to announce how it came together from a reorganization and transforming city government and continuous process improvement. So it was part of a much bigger master plan than just 6 individuals losing their jobs, no matter how impactful those are to those individuals. So you can choose to debate that with me during the question and answer period if you'd like, but that was the reason that we chose to do so. I know if you read the front page story of the Gazette, you know the positions that were eliminated and the people that were impacted. None of those decisions are made lightly. I'd like to think that we are a very compassionate employer and we treat our people with dignity. We do recognize that it does impact their life. However, I think we've come in front of you many times before to say that the city's operations, particularly as it relates to the general fund, 70% of our monies are spent on payroll and related compensation, and that percentage continues to grow. And if you knew that going into 2013, any revenue projections that we are projecting at this time as it relates to sales tax in particular, we're going to be consumed by overhead expenses. And what I mean by that is the rising cost of pensions, health care, as well as utility costs. Just those 3 alone pretty well erase any sort of increase in revenues. And so you have to make tough business calls as you move forward and you are attempting to offer the best service possible to the taxpayers with the core services we're charged with providing. You need to make some tough decisions. And since 70% of our monies are spent toward payroll, that is an area that we look toward. Now, I will say that not all of our process improvements we're going to stand in front of you today are going to be taking people and reducing force within the city organization, but sometimes it does impact just that, and so I wanted to address that. I will say that there was a challenge, I don't remember the question specifically, is how can you reduce force of these wonderful people with many years of service in public works and planning, and yet you're adding people in communications. And to me, that's mixing apples and oranges. With anyone who's ever run a business, there are certain parts of your business that must function and must move forward, and communications is certainly a very vibrant part of what we do. We did have openings. We're going to fill those openings. We're going to continue to do so in many other departments. And then there's operational departments where you take a look and you find synergies and you find redundancies, and you find new ways of doing business, and you have to make those tough calls. And so I want to be very forthright with you that this is not going to be the last time we're standing at this podium talking about process improvements, and sometimes that is going to impact certain positions. And you might say, well, why didn't you try to move some of those people into the communications role or into somewhere else? There's a certain skill set that's required for certain positions. It comes down to that, and I think you all understand that, but I wanted to answer that specific question. Why do you continue to recruit for certain positions while laying off others? And that's the answer. And so at this point, I would like to invite up to the podium, if I could, Helen Mickelbrink, who, by the way, did an outstanding job at a podium just about 45 minutes ago on the Stormwater Summit. Thank you for representing us so well at the city, Helen. And if you can take us through Public Works, I'd appreciate it.